Right, okay, right, here we go. It's Reliant Project Part 7. My mate Math's here with me again.
Hello.
The camera work.
Yeah.
And the tricycle is not here today. Nothing's been done on the tricycle since Part 6, really. Nothing's been done. But if you remember, if anybody who's watched, particularly our walk around video where we went around all the cars, I mentioned that I had another engine that I was going to put in. Well, it turns out now I've actually got 3 850cc engines, and one of these is going to go into the tricycle. This one I bought, this yellow top. These are a high compression engine. A lot of people tend to rave over these. All it is that they've got a modified camshafting that gives a bit more torque, slightly less power but more torque. And you can tell a yellow top engine. No, you can't just go by this, because these get swapped about over years. But the way to tell is this E-stamp. If that E-stamp is there, and I think there's an E-stamp somewhere on the cylinder head as well. I can't see it. I ain't got my glasses on. Right. But basically, there's engine number, and the 85 there, that shows that it's 850cc engine, the 85. This is just the engine number. That E means yellow top. This 6A, this is a date code. So that 6 means 1986 and A is January, because it goes A, B, C, D like that. Up to M, because they didn't use the letter I. The letter I is not used, so M is December. Right. So that's 86 January. And this one here, this is a standard 850cc engine, as in not high compression. Engine number 70007, and this is 3D, so that's 1983, April 83. Now these engines went for so long that eventually you'd get to 93, but the engine number would be massively different. So if you look on database, you can tell if it's 93 or 83, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I've got 3 of these engines. One of them's still up in garage, and I'm decided I'm going to go with this because I've done compression tests on all of them, and this has got really good compression figures. Right. You're talking the lowest cylinder were 165 and the highest were 195. Right. This one, they were okay, but one of them were a little bit low, around about just over 100, 105. It'll probably still run. I bought this off a well-known Reliant guy who deals in them, and he's got a good reputation. He says it came out of a running car, which I believe. So it's probably not wrong with it really, but because this has got much better compression figures, the other one kind of came, the third one that's not here kind of came in between. So I'm going to go with this, and the idea is to fire this up today and see how it runs. We're going to do it hub nut style, but we've got it on a proper dolly. We've actually got some cooling. Hubnut just got his running, didn't he? Yeah. Just briefly. I want to get this up to temperature and make sure there's no oil leaks. We've got an oil pressure gauge attached, so we can actually see the pressure. I wanted a vacuum gauge as well, which I am going to fit, but I can't do it today because I haven't got the adapter. We've got it strapped down somewhat to try and stop it keeling over. Yeah. And I am going to fit a gearbox temporarily, just so that that's not exposed when it's spinning. But we'll just go through some of these parts before we do that. I bought this. This came with the yellow top engine. This carburetor, this is SU carburetor, standard Reliant. It came with this engine, and it had these yellow top engines need a specific dizzy and a specific needle in the carb, and this had it. So I have swapped it out for a new needle for this engine. But one thing is that this particular air cleaner, I like this air cleaner because it's right easy to clip on and off. Look, it's right easy compared to the big bulky original one. But the only problem is that's supposed to be a proper Reliant filter, and when that one inside, when that were clipped on and this one inside, this would rattle about like that. You could feel it. So unfiltered air's getting through it, innit? Right. Above it. And I thought, well, that's crap. So I've just stuck this piece of rubber in there So now when that goes, and there's a piece in there as well, look.
Oh yeah.
So now when I clip this on, that filter's held properly in place, which I think is what it's supposed to be like. Because if there's a gap above it and unfiltered air is getting through, you might as well not have the air filter in at all.
Yeah.
And this float ball lid, you can turn it. Originally it was pointing that way, and with this on you couldn't get the pipe on, but you can just take that off and you can point it, and I want it pointing in that direction anyway, because when this is on the car, my fuel now will come, you'll see it anyway when we get it up and running, the fuel will come from round the back now instead of round the front like it does on the tricycle at the moment, because the Zenith has the fuel inlet here and this has a fuel inlet there. So that's how I'm going to do that. Another difference I've noticed, just passes that bath.
Yep.
When Reliant brought out this SU carburetor, they fitted these heated manifolds where water, there's a jacket inside there, and hot water from the cooling system goes around there and keeps this at a set temperature. That's the idea anyway. And Adam at the Reliant Owners Club, he advised me to fit this one. You see there's a pipe, there's an inlet or outlet there, and there's one there at the back, whereas this one has got them both on the same side. And he says this is the better one to have, because this one, the water would get, it won't move, it won't circulate properly. Plus I read somewhere that if you have this one fitted, there was a heater valve at the back that you could turn on and off, and if you switched it off, you cut off water circulating around number 4 cylinder. I don't know how right that is. I'm not an expert, but I read that. So anyway, I fitted this one as Adam advised. This little elbow here, this little heater elbow here, this is what's used on the Regal, because they don't have this. But when this does go in the tricycle, this is where the heaters will connect. One heater outlet will connect there, and the other heater pipe will connect there, and that's how that will work. It was a bit confusing at first, I wasn't too sure how it would work, but that's the way it's going. It's got an 82-degree thermostat fitted for summer use. In here we have got modern electronic ignition fitted. This is the correct distributor for this engine, and that's the correct distributor for that engine. They've got slightly different curves. That's for the yellow top, this is more standard. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this rigged up, we're going to get it fired up and see what happens, and see if we can get it going and what it sounds like. The other thing that we've got to do as well, when you fit in an 850 engine in Regal, you don't have to fit the later gearbox, you can just fit the standard Regal gearbox, but there's no point because you're losing, you've still got no synchro on first gear. If you fit this, the ratios are a bit more different, and we'll have a look anyway. I'll show you what you've got to do. You've got to modify the 850 gearbox to fit the Regal clutch system, and I'll show you the differences here. So on this one, this is a standard grubby, grimy 850 gearbox. It uses the same thrust bearing system in there. It's quite stiff as this, that's supposed to move, it's all dirty and cruddy. We're not using this gearbox, but if you look, you see this lever here, as this comes forward to hit the clutch cover and disengage the clutch, this lever has to come forward, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But if you look on the Regal system, it has to go the opposite way, so you have to modify the box. So the Regal system doesn't have this lever that goes across the top, it has this lever that pivots at one side.
Oh yeah.
So when this goes back for that to come forward, yeah? Right. And also notice I've fitted one of these fancy steel titanium release bearings. This turns around. They're not cheap. The chap who does these, I think they're about 75-80 quid, but the chap who does these, he doesn't just do them for Reliant, he does them for Hillman Imp, Morris Minor. I've seen them on eBay, because these are just they're just solid, and they just go flat, smooth and flat. There's no wrong with them as such. But one other thing that you'll notice on here, or you might notice, I'll explain. This is the clutch cover. The clutch is already in and centralised. This was made by company called LUK clutch cover, and you can't get these anymore. They're not made. They haven't been made for quite a number of years, and they're quite hard to get. But these are meant to be the better ones to use. The other one that you can still buy is the Borg & Beck, which is this one. But I don't like these. And this is a brand new one. And look what I had to do to this. When I first got this, before I got these engines, this wasn't even flat out of the box. It were all lopsided and cockeyed. And then I noticed, can you see here where I've ground that down? I had to take all this off because that came out miscast out of the factory. And this were all tilted. That all needed grinding down. Look, you see what I've done to make it smooth.
Oh yeah.
And even when I've done that, when I look closely at that, that's still not flat. And I just don't like these. And if you watch Upnut's videos where they were putting that engine into that Reliant Fox, he had this fitted. And one of these springs got caught on something and it got misshapen and this whole central thing just fell out. He had to mess about and take the whole engine out again to do it. And the other engine that's up at the garage, which is not here, has got one of these fitted, and guess what's missing?
No.
This central thing is all missing. One of these is broken, and I just look at them and I just think they're crap. I know there's some spurious Chinese ones going around. I don't know if this is one of them. It's got proper stamps on it. I don't know. It might be okay to use this, but I'm going to go with this one. It has got the brand new clutch plate out of this kit, because you can mix and match the covers with the plates. That's not a problem. So we're going to go with that. I've got brand new spark plugs fitted. When you buy spark plugs for Reliant engines, can you see how deeply recessed they are? They're quite awkward to get in.
Oh, are you?
Right, you can get them with different size heads. I always go for the smaller ones. They take a 16mm socket. So if you get an extended 16mm socket, you don't need a special. And you can even get to these ones when you take the cap off. You can even get these in and out. Take that cap off, you can get to them. If you go with the other spark plugs that have got the bigger, I think they're 22mm.
Yeah.
It's just a night. You can't get to these.
Yeah.
So I always go for these ones. There is a code on the thing, and I can't read it because I ain't got my glasses on. So, what is the purpose of all this then? Why am I putting this engine in? The 700 engine in the Regal at the moment, it's running nice. There's no wrong with it, and that's why I've been in no rush to do this. But an 850 might just give it a little bit more pep. I'm not expecting it to change it into something that it's not. It's still going to be an all three-wheeler that I'll do 55, 60. I'll stick to 60 mile an hour tops. That's what I do anyway. I just want it to have a little bit more pep going up the hills, because there's an hill near me that's 40 mile an hour speed limit, and if I don't get any momentum at the bottom of it, I'm having to drop down to the third gear halfway up. And I just want it to be a little bit more keeping up with modern traffic, just a bit. You've got to remember that these engines were fitted to Mark 1 Robins and Rialtos with 10-inch wheels, and the Regal's got 13-inch wheels, so you're not gonna get that acceleration that you would in a Robin. I've never driven a Robin or a Rialto, but you're not going to get that kind of thing, because you've got bigger wheels fitted. Plus the gearing in the diff is going to be different. So I'm not expecting a massive difference, but I might just get a little bit smoother. I'll certainly get synchro on all 4 gears. Not that that's an issue anyway. So what we're going to do now then, we're going to one other thing I did as well, I don't know if you can see in here. When I inspected these, I had a good look at both these engines, and on this engine in here, and this one actually, because I did this before I got these ones, all these valve stem oil seals in there were rock hard. They'd gone hard, aged over time, so I decided to fit new ones, but I managed to fit them without taking the cylinder head off, and it were a little bit of an awkward job, but I managed to do it. One thing you can do if you've got access to it, they put compressed air inside here You put compressed air inside there, fill that up, and then you can take this rocker assembly off, and the compressed air stops the valve from dropping. And you can get them out this way. But the way I did it is this. This is a special tool that I made. And basically you wind the engine, you take the spark plugs out, you wind the engine up till the piston's coming up to the top of the bore, and then you take this rocker off, this rocker assembly off that's held on with these 4 nuts here. Take the rods out, but keep them somewhere safe in order of what they've come out. And if you look, you can bolt that on there, right? And when this is out of way, that will sit flat against there. And if you put something inside, if you put like a sturdy screwdriver inside there between the piston top and the valve, you can press that down. It doesn't need to be this long. This is a bit ridiculously long, but it does need a certain amount of length. You can't just have it here, because they are strong, these springs. You want to be about here like this, and you'll be able to do it. I managed to do them all. I've done it on this, I've done it on this. So they've got brand new valve stem seals now. The ones with a little, you can't see, you won't be able to see, but they've got little springs around the base that hold them so that they don't slide up and down. The older ones would get hard and then they'd grip to the shaft, they'd slide up and down, and they weren't really doing what they were supposed to do. The other thing we're going to attempt as well, if we get this engine running, you see this here, this is the water drain plug, and it needs to be taken out when the engine's got up to temperature. Stop the engine, take that out, flush water through it, and have a right good poke around the back of here, around back of number 4 cylinder, because this is where it cruds up. On Hubnut's video, he tried to take that off and it immediately snapped. So he never got to do that on his. It snapped and it left the thing flush inside, and that'd have been a bit of a, you'd probably better get it out somewhere, but we definitely want to avoid that if we can. So the only other thing I had to do on this engine was, you see this is fixed now. There's no oil in it. We're going to put oil in it obviously before we start. You see, I've used chemical metal down here because this tube wasn't tightly fitted in there, so I had to push it down, get it down so it would as far down as it was supposed to go. Then I just put chemical metal around there because this were all loose, but now it's as good as new, and this bracket holds this on here. So do you think this is sturdy enough, Matt?
It looks it.
The fan is not going anywhere, is it?
No.
When we do start it, we just have to put his hands, one of us will have to put his hands on here just in case.
Yeah.
It looks like it should be alright. We are going to fit the exhaust. So what we're going to do is, because we don't want to be annoying the neighbours, so what we're going to do is we're going to get this set up now, and next time when you watch this, we'll be ready to fire it up. Right then, Matt, that's it. Right then, we're ready to fire this up. I've never done out like this before, so I've watched all Hubnut's videos again to see how he did it. One thing I noticed was that the engine were wanting to wobble about, so we've got this on here. We think it's going to be sturdy enough with these. We've put these bungee cords on. We are going to hold it as well. I'm going to hold it with my hand just in case. This fan is clear of the radiator. We've got oil pressure gauge. We've fitted the carb, we've got oil in the gearbox, not that I think we need it, and just in case, I've sucked petrol through here into this filter. We've covered up the petrol can for safety's sake, and just to be extra safe, we've got several fire extinguishers. Hopefully we're not going to need them, but if we do need them, it could be quite entertaining for the viewers. Right, so are we ready to roll, Matt?
We are ready to roll.
We've basically got how we've wired it up, because I've wired this electronic kit up how they said, because it's going to be negative earth. We're using the battery on the Anglia van, so we've got negative to negative of coil and positive to positive of coil, exactly how the instructions said. We've not got this vacuum pipe attached just yet to the carburetor, which would attach to this here. There's a flame trap thing here on the carb. Oh, I'll tell you one thing we haven't done. We need to put a little bit of oil in here. SU carb. You put a little bit of oil in the dashpot, and it ain't much at all.
I don't think it means much. Oh, what's it? Oh my god. But I haven't put any in. It'll just blow, apparently it'll just blow next to it. But I hardly took anything at all.
There is special SU dashpot oil you can buy, but from what I've heard, 2050 oil is perfect for the job. Right then, one other thing that we did, because we were going to fit the dynamo, because we want the water pump to work, and we had this, fresh from Tamworth. Look at this. What's that, 50-year-old? Part number 6052. It even says on this, look, Reliant Goodyear, made in Great Britain, but it's too small. It would not fit over the dynamo and the pulleys. That must be for, I don't know, a Mark 5 Regal. Must be for a side valve or something, because there's no way it fits over these pulleys. So Math came up with an idea.
Ingenuity.
And this is very, very hub nut, is this. I'm not so sure this is going to work. We've got tie wraps around the crank and the water pump. We might have to move this a little bit. That's a bit close to this thing here, Math, if it wobbles. No, this is a bit close to this bottom pipe. Right.
There we go. That's got it.
So we've got earth cable to earth. That doesn't feel very tight, that. We've got everything ready. We've got water in it. I'm just thinking, I'm just a bit concerned that when we try and fire it up, that belt, that tie wrap will just snap. You never know.
Nope.
Might be surprised.
I like that. Yeah, it's miles away now, isn't it?
Yeah. So, are you ready then, Math?
Yep.
Come on then, let's give it a go. But it'll take a bit of cranking because there's no fuel in the carburetor, so it'll take a bit of fuel to get up here. And we'll have to keep a close eye mostly on fuel leaks. If any fuel starts dripping, stop.
Yeah.
Water leaks, not so bad. We can maybe try and fix them, or if someone wants tightening up. But primarily, we must watch fuel leaks. All right then. Right, my hand will getting warm then. Right, so this is cranking over. I'm not sure we're getting a. Right, we haven't even got fuel yet.
No, we haven't got no fuel
There's
up there.
no fuel coming into this at all.
Not yet.
No
fuel yet, have we?
We're not sucking any fuel up. The thing is, that's supposed to be a one-way valve, that. Let me just check that I've got it right way around. There is a little arrow on these.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Where is it? Tiny little arrow.
No, it is.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
right.
way,
It's
yeah.
pointing the right way.
Blowing.
Hold on a minute, is that going back?
It's blowing, yeah.
It's going back. We've got these wrong way around.
Yeah. It's blowing it out.
Right. I always thought, you know why? On the Zenith carburetor, it does come out at the front because the fuel pipe runs over the top here.
Right.
Because the fuel inlet on a Zenith is here.
Right.
But obviously this is an 850, so the fuel comes in here.
Right.
So that's why this is the other way around, and I've not clicked onto that. Let's just make sure it's going through.
Yeah, it's sucking it now.
Right, it's going through.
Yeah, it's filling carb up now, I can see it.
It must be.
Right.
refuel it.
Let's put this down now, huh?
Yeah, you can put that down. The question is now, we've got to try and get this to try and fire. I've left this slightly loose. We've got firing order 1, 3, 4, 2. That is what it is. And I've just checked that. This is the number 1. So I should just be able to move this around with my hand and see if I can get it to fire. The thing is, on a Reliant, a lot of people, you see this vacuum unit, a lot of people have this vacuum unit down here because it makes it easy for the clips, but I can't have the vacuum unit down here because when it goes into Reliant, the inside of the panel is like here, and if this is much more pointing down here than what it is now, it rubs against inside and bangs and makes a noise when you're running. Right, I'll have to put this on here and try and adjust this by hand. I'm not even certain that we're getting a spark. Can't tell. The only way to do that would be to take one of these off, wouldn't it? But we'll give this a go. Spark plug out,
yeah,
and hold it close to the body while it's cranking. At least then you can see if you're getting a spark. Shall we do that?
Can do.
So basically, plug that in there and hold that against body. That should spark, shouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. You got sparkling. you got sparkling.
Sparking?
That's sparkling.
I got a
You get a belt then?
Yeah, I'll get in it, will coming through me. Right then. So we are getting a spark.
Yeah.
I wonder if it can't be timed up properly. I thought I'd timed this up because I tell you what, that belt thing's
No, well, it's spinning.
it's turning that. That is lined up at 10 degrees before top dead centre, but I have to make sure that cylinder number 1 is on compression stroke. Let's just have a look under here.
Careful, because that's all live, remember.
It's pointing at number 1 cylinder there. It is pointing at it. You don't think it's because something daft like we need choke that we aren't giving it enough?
Could be. It's give it a bit of a little pip 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 whilst you're doing it. Bit of pedal action. That.
Where is the choke thing on this?
Right.
That's it there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's it there. There.
Just to start to stall this out, doesn't it, a bit? That's all that does. For your choke like that, yeah. Manual choke.
We'll try it again, but you'll have to...
Yeah, like that.
See what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It was sparky, but it didn't seem a particularly strong spark.
Right.
I'm just a bit concerned about this. I don't know. The thing is, there's a keyway on the bottom of these distributors.
Oh, yeah, so yeah.
And they're like off centre.
Right.
It could well be that we were right first time, because if this is 180 out now, what we're trying to do, that's why it won't sit in. I'm going to have to start van up and make sure it can charge up.
Yeah.
What else?
We're going to have no electricity in your van. to be undesirable.
Maybe we should try it while this is doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's carburetor then.
Yeah.
That's the carburetor at full. So there's something wrong with this.
Yeah.
That's blocked or something.
Yeah.
At the bottom it needs stripping down and having a look at. Shall we see if we can get it running a bit longer?
Yeah, great, yeah.
On a nice tick over?
Yeah.
Without spitting and backfiring?
Yeah.
At least we've got somewhere. So we knew we were all timed up, everything were right.
Yeah.
It's just that there's something wrong with this.
Yeah. Oh, I'll give it some more throttle.
Just try to fall back, that's fallen down.
That's it. Hold that. He's dying, man.
It might want a bit of choke.
Yeah. There you go.
Oil pressure is just short of 50. We're just short of 50.
Oh, that's good.
About 45, 50, which is better than the other engine. The other engine only sits at 30 all the time.
Yeah. It's only this, it's only me trying to
It sounds quite smooth, but it's just a case of
get it to tick.
we have got a little bit of a fuel leak.
Have we?
It's just coming out of where the pipe goes into the car.
It's on my thumb, I'm getting it on my thumb.
I'll tell you what it is, there's a clicking noise. That pipe's catching that fan.
Oh, is that what it is?
That pipe's catching.
Oh, well, there's fuel there, just come out there.
Where?
Oh, yeah. Ah.
Where?
Look a bit.
Oh, bollocks.
Just chop it and put it back on.
I told you that fuel pipe was shit, you know?
Yeah. No wonder we're getting covered in juice.
Trouble is, it's got to go that way because of...
Right, try again. But that's probably why.
Fucking wearing now, just put fuel all over the place.
Yeah. That's covered in fuel, is that? Careful. The jump leaders.
I ain't so much bothered about that, I'm bothered about this.
I'm bothered about that sparking and you going both in your face.
This is not good, is it?
Wipe it down with cloth as much as you can.
It's covered in petrol. it was a little bit wet there, I've covered it over there. Is that rolling?
Yeah.
Right, are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Our fan bell has been. I tell you what, it worked for so long.
Well, it's been spinning over the last whatever.
It was clicking and clicking.
Yeah.
It was. I was adjusting this while it was running, and it was running a lot better.
Yeah.
Right, we'll give it another go.
Right.
We ain't done now, have we? We've
Nope.
strapped it up. Right, you ready?
Yep.
It's very
Ukulele.
uneven, isn't it?
Ukulele.
I just moved this.
Oh, that ukulele.
It's not smooth, it's like it's running on 3 cylinders or something.
Yeah.
We could try messing with that mixture. Turn that mixture screw. Let me just have a look. Just. Have you turned it out?
No, I haven't moved it yet.
Right, turn it out. 1/2 flat.
That's better. There you go. That's better.
That's better at that, isn't it?
Yeah. Put it.
That can't be right. It's only showing 25, but look at the thing, it's not even full.
Might be air in it. You have to kill it soon, it's got no water.
It's what?
You have to kill it soon, it's got no water pump.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking, why is there no oil flowing into that thing there?
Give it a little bit. That sounds nice.
What's that noise? You hear it? What?
It's looking if I was that big. I don't know. Like a backfire, that, isn't it?
I don't know.
Kill it. There we are. Right. Smashing.
Right.
I've got 4% left.
There is an issue here, look.
That's because the front thing's not screwed up wing.
Yeah. And that's exactly what the Regal were doing when I first got it.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to fit the speedy sleeve.
Right.
Right, because what were happening was I would get a little spray. I could see a line of oil on the floor whenever I'd left it,
Right.
and that's what were happening. Now that's not tightened up properly.
Just fired up.
So the Weber carb has worked. That SU, something wrong with it. Must be a blocked jet or something. Fuel wasn't getting through at all, were it?
No.
The plugs were bone dry. As soon as we put the Weber on, as soon as the fuel got through, fired up straight away. But we can't leave that Weber. We can't have the Weber fitted like that. It's
No.
alright for tests, but there's no way you would have it like that.
No.
To be honest, I want to get the SU working. That's ticking over lovely.
Yeah.
Nice and smooth. What pressure have we got?
There you go.
Well, that's 45 and it's just short of 50. We've got 45. 3 bar. Oh, is it 3 bar?
Something like that.
Kilograms per centimetre squared. It's better oil pressure than what on other one. Other one's 30 all the time. But our little emergency fan valve seems to be working. At least it's pumping water, isn't it?
Yeah.
After a few hours of tinkering and messing around, we've found that this engine does tick over nice. It's the only issues I've got, 2 or 3 issues. One is this water pump does not line up with the crank pump pulley. I don't know why, but when I look straight down there, it looks to be a good 5 or 6 mil out. I don't know why. The thing is though, this water pump, when I do swap the engine, the water pump from the Regal and the crank pump pulley from the Regal are both coming on this engine, because the water pump is brand new on that other engine, and the crank pump pulley is a bit, I think it might be a bit smaller, and it's got a speedy sleeve on it that kind of stops oil leaks. So, and I know that they're okay, so in theory they should be okay when they come in here. The other issue I've got that I'm a bit concerned with, the oil pressure gauge intermittently, when we start it, reads 50 and then drops down to about 25 or below 25 to near 20, but it ticks over lovely, and I don't know why that would be so low. It's 30 on Regal. And the only other thing is this ZF carb, this SU carb, there's something wrong with it, because we spent ages, didn't we, Math?
Yeah.
We spent ages trying to get it running, and the plugs weren't even wet. I think there's a blocked jet or something, so I'm going to have a closer look at that. We put the Weber on, this new Weber,
Instantly.
and started straight away. A little bit of fettling with a touch of the mixture and what have you. We've got it ticking over lovely. I could keep using a ZF, but we certainly can't use a ZF in that orientation, because you can't fit a throttle cable to it. But we'll sort something out. We'll get something sorted out. In fact, you'd need some kind of adapter to use that Weber on there, or you'd have to put it on here.
Yeah.
And maybe use this. I don't know. I never thought about using Weber. I only used it for test. I want to use the SU, because that's the carb that it's meant to have. So we'll have to sort something out with this, because that's not right. All right then, mate. That's it.
Right. Comment, like and subscribe.